तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। The meaning of the word Krishna is derived from the root Krish, means that which attracts. Akarshanat iti Krishna. This is the meaning of it. Of course, for the term Krish, there are many meanings. The first meaning, or the most popular one, is that which attracts. Very attractive. The most attractive avatar. The most attractive personality. Just sucks you. That much of variety, that much of colorfulness in life. You find it very rare to find such a being. And also this word Krish also means dark cloud. Now, when we say dark cloud, there are two types of dark clouds. One is, empty dark clouds. This is not an empty dark cloud. This is a rain-bearing dark cloud. And it is so interesting to see how they have given name. The darker the cloud, more the rain. More darker it is, more rain you get. And what is so interesting about that is, in that example of darkness, is the cloud is dark, but cloud is dark, but the water is not dark. Water is colorless, tasteless. You can't define what color it is, what taste it is. But without that water, no taste is possible. That's why when you dehydrate your tongue, you can't taste anything. You are able to taste because of water. But water has no taste. So, what is Krishna? You say, Krishna is one who is like that rain-bearing dark cloud. But at the same time, what he does, the cloud showers rain. Like that, he also showers his grace. And his grace gets showered like a cloud burst, not like a drops here, there and all that. Not like the rain that we get, the rains that we see. It's a cloud burst. It is showering that much. But the problem is we should be able to access it. That is a different thing. But the grace is getting showered. The compassion is showered so much. That is the beauty of Krishna. So one we say Krishna means he is very attractive. Another meaning for the word Krishna is derivation. Is dark cloud. Another meaning for word Krishna is to plow. That the land generally gets hard. When you leave the land as it is, it gets hard. Any cultivation to happen, first thing we have to do is what? Plow it. When they are plowing, what they do? is they just circulate the soil. The hard gets loosened up. And they say the fertility in the soil is there only in the first few inches, 7-8 inches. That's all. If you go below that, there is no fertility in the land. Just on the surface, but just below. It's not purely on the surface. Just little below you have to go. You have to turn it round. The process of turning that round is called Krish. Means to plow. That is the meaning of it. So what is Krishna doing? He is just turning the hard-hearted personalities to the fertile, lucent, devoted personalities. The very nature of him is like that. That is the beauty, they say, of Krishna. So what is Krishna? He's like plowing the field. That's what he gives in the 13th chapter of the Gita. Kshetra, Kshetrajna. Kshetra, all beings are all treated as Kshetra, means field. So in the field what we do? Cultivation. To cultivate, starting point of cultivation is plowing. First thing they have to do is that. So the essential job is done by Krishna. So there is another meaning they give for the word Krishna. Means to Krishna. It's all derivations from this one root, Krish. Means to plow. Krish also has another meaning. To lead you. To lead is also the meaning. To be a leader. And Krishna had lived all his life as a leader. Wherever he is the leader. He was leading, he is standing as an example to the whole world. That's the meaning of it. That's what we see in the Gita. He says, Yadyata charati shreshta tat tatyeva itara jana. All whatever the superior person does, that's what whole world is going to follow. Why? Krishna being the supreme most person, he leads the way. So therefore, what is he? They say he means Krish. Means this. Then comes another meaning. Krish also means to steal, to loot. Is also the meaning of the word Krishna. So Krishna, who is Krishna, means he is a master thief. Lead us. What? Stealing. That's what we sing. Chor he is. In the surviving, religion in the world, we will not find anywhere they depict God as a one who steals. Stealing is something, it's unimaginable for you to think Rama stealing. It's not possible. Imagine, Rama stealing. How is it possible? Even in your dreams you can't visualize Rama like that. Or, Shiva stealing. Stealing, I will not do all that. No God you can think of stealing, but here we have a master who can steal. Chor, we say. Also, Krishna means, there's another meaning. The word Krishna means to bend. To bend is the another meaning. Let's say if you see Krishna's posture standing, you will see there are 3 bends in his body. You will see all these dancers, they perform the dances, but no one gives that posture. I checked. Impossible to give that posture of having a bend in 3 places you find. A bend here, here.
Yeah, correct. I can see.
You see the picture, any picture where Krishna standing, you see, with the flute he is standing, you will see there are 3 bends in that. Almost, I don't know how he balances and standing. It's an effortless standing. Like we see, Lord Ayyappa, in a seating posture. That posture is not easy to sit. To sit in that squat and keep that back erect, straight, and 2 feet together. Now, you can squat. Automatically what will happen is the feet will move apart. After keeping the feet apart, you can squat. Here, he will be seated in a position where he's sitting there with back erect. Almost like, 2 different personalities. Like that, Krishna is also. What is that? He says that bend means you should be able to adapt to the situation. The problem we find in life is our inability to be flexible, to be having that adaptation and readaptation, the rigidity with which we live our life. Yes, don't be so rigid. But at the same time, in the name of adapting and changing, you cannot be compromising. That is a difference. We also adapt. We also adjust. Most of our adjustments and adaptations were done for what you adapt to. Sir, I have adapted very well to the current situation. What? Earlier I was not taking bribe, now I have started taking bribe. This is adaptation. I have adapted to the condition so well. This is not adaptation. Flexibility. You must be so flexible, uncompromising with the higher values. And you will not find a single fault in anything that he has done by Krishna. Now, almost people are there in Zoom. 99.9% will not agree. What about? Not agree that there is not a single fault in Krishna's life. There is no compromise he has ever done with reference to dharma. No values gets compromised. So in adaptation, what we are doing is at the cost of values we adapt. Krishna says no. It should look so graceful and so effortless. At the same time, if you try to emulate that, you will see the pain. You can't stand. Like Nataraja pose. Nataraja pose everybody gives only with reference to the feet and the hand. The most important one in Nataraja's pose is what? The hair. What are we going to do for the hair? The only way we can do is put a big fan. That's all. That's not the posture. That is the speed at which he is moving. Only then the hair moves like that. Hair standing parallel. What speed he is rotating, in that posture to rotate in that speed, was impossible. That posture you can show. Every dancer will show that posture. All Bharatanatyam dancers, they will show. They teach. And they think they are showing, this is Nataraja pose. This is half Nataraja only. It's not full Nataraja. Like that, Krishna also. Standing is not possible. There, Nataraja, like dancing is difficult. Krishna goes one step further. He says, first stand. Stand the posture, man. To bend. This is Another meaning, word Krish means to bend. Krish, I told, this also means to steal, to loot. Yes. So, of all that, these three are the most popular ones: attraction, dark cloud, and loot. These three are the most popular ones. Lot of people have used these three meanings. Other meanings are not so popular. Not, of course, there are more meanings also they give. There are about 16 or so odd meanings they give for that root word, Krish. They give different meanings to it, and each meaning how it is fitting into Krishna's. And Krishna is so flexible, you can give any meaning. And of all that we say, Krishna is just, what does he steal? It's so interesting. Krishna stealing. See, Krishna goes and steals only curd and butter. Nowhere you would have seen Krishna stealing milk. You seen that? Balalila, you know, all the stories and everything, 90% of the time it will be butter. Very rare you find him stealing curd also. That curd is more for teasing, not for consuming, just to tease these gopis. You know, when they carry curd, you throw stones and break the pot. That's just to tease them, not actual stealing. If you see, milk, he never touches milk. And it's so interesting to see why he is not stealing milk. And all cowards know. And another aspect of it is, there is so much of milk is there in his house. So much of curd is there in his house. So much of butter is there in his house. Because Nanda himself is a leader for that clan, for that tribe, for that group, for the entire Gokula. He is the chief. So chief means what? The one who has maximum cattle is the one who becomes a chief. So much is there in his house. But this fellow goes out and steals. It's amazing. Weird fellow. There also he steals only this. This is where these people started calling him Navanita Chora. Another name for Krishna. He is a Navanita Chora. Krishna you have. Udupi. Krishna, the Balakrishna will be crawling with one hand. The butter he will have in the hand. He is stealing butter. You say, why does he steal only butter, sir? Navanita means butter. Nava means, new. That's the meaning of it. Nava means new. Nita means extracted, taken out. What is taken out? New. He will also steal. Which butter he will steal? He will not steal old butter. If you keep butter in the fridge, he will not come. Today he will not come. Now you may say, sir, we have so much butter in the house. He will not even look at it. He looks at only which butter. Navanita it should be. Navanita means it has to be a fresh one. Fresh extracted butter you keep. What he does now? He comes and steals. Why he does that? See, why he is not coming to milk? He is not attracted by milk. He is attracted by butter. Same thing, no? What difference does it make? And butter is also white. Milk is also white. It is also white, this is also white. What difference does it make? He says there is a world of difference between the two. Not in terms of, our food value. I'm saying there is bacteria there, there is healthy bacteria here, this bacteria there, and all that. Fermented, not fermented, and all that, we are not interested. Butter has a peculiar quality. Butter, the freshly extracted butter, has no taste. You know that? Fresh butter will not have any taste. It is tasteless. It will not fall under any one of this, shadrasa we say. There are 6 tastes we refer to. Sweet, sour, bitter, etc. I don't know what else. Another 3 is there. I don't remember that. Some taste is there. Sweet, salt, sour, bitter. Then what else is there? Something is there. How about I'm not getting it. 2 more. Anyway, I'm not getting it. If it comes, I'll tell you. Shadrasa, I say. There are 6 tastes. Butter doesn't fall into any one of that. It will not have any one. Goes and steals that one.
But the people who like it, they love it.
Yeah, you fall for it means it's
The fresh butter.
Fresh butter. What taste it is, you can't define. It has something in it, but it is not. You can't classify that and say this is what it means. That is the butter. That is compared to the state of Purnatvam. See, there are 2 angles here. One is from the angle of emotion, devotional aspect. Another one is intellectual aspect. Now, intellectual aspect, we will have that comparison very different. Devotional aspect, the points will be slightly different. See, how do you get that butter? First thing what you need to do is you have to boil the milk. See, when you are boiling the milk, what happens? It rises and then settles down. First thing you have to do is what? You got to heat it up. When you heat it up, it rises and then settles. And they say a friendship should be like that. It's a fascinating one. Example they give for friendship. The relationship between friends should be like that of milk and water. They mix. And then you keep milk and water together. You can't distinguish which is milk and which is water. Which is the water part, which is milk part, you can't distinguish. So what happens, they say, is when you are in trouble, when there is a problem, what happens is the water fellow says, friend, water says, you stay, I will give up my life. He dies. That's how water gets evaporated. When you are heating the milk, what is happening now? Water is getting evaporated. That's how all the water content goes. Finally, you will not have any water in that. You will have solid Kova, like, isn't it? That's how you prepare. What is happening there? Now, all the water content is evaporating. So, the water says to the friend, milk, hey, I protect you. You stay. I die. And he is leaving. And the milk is not able to digest the fact that the friend is leaving. So, what is he doing? He says, no, I am also coming with you. He is also racing up. That is why when you are boiling milk, it is racing. 2-3 times, when I was watching that milk boiling, this is what I do all the time. I allow that to come up to the brim. Only then I switch off. Sometimes it slips also. I get scoldings for that. But it is so interesting. Every time I see it, I get really excited to see that. It races. Beautifully it will race. Milk says, I am not allowing you to go. I will also come with you. Yes. Seeing that, right? Seeing the friendship, seeing the oneness, seeing that sacrifice done by these two, the fire gets off. Fire switches off. That's what happens, it seems. When it spills all over, it goes and puts off the fire. Then it is settled. That's what the comparison taking. There's milk. What is milk now? Milk is, it is watery, but it is white. Same way, the mental framework of the devotees, fundamental framework required for a devotee is to have a pure mind. White, colorless. White color, it should be pure. When you have a pure mind, that pure mind were to be heated with the qualities of bhakti. What happens? There will be a sudden inspiration. You will get that initial inspiration. That's where the mind raises. That's what in the heat, when you boil the milk raises. Same way, this also raises. After raising to a point, what are we supposed to do? Cool down. You can't go on raising. If you go on raising, what will happen? The milk itself will disappear. All the milk will go away. Right? That is not what is expected here. You should get that initial inspiration, which is the raising of the milk, but then you can't be in that state for a long period of time. Then what will happen? You will fall down. So when you have that heat of devotion, what happens is it raises and then settles down. When you are about to settle down, what are you supposed to do? In that lukewarm state is a state where you add little curd to it. See, what is adding little curd to it is to add that shantarasa to it. Peace is the curd that you have to add. After this emotion subsides, after that emotional hype which happens subsides, after that, what are you supposed to do now? Add that peace consciously. When you add that peace, what is adding peace? Initially, you do your effort with your effort of bhakti. With that effort of bhakti, when you do, it heats up. Pick up sudden inspiration, or to put it other way around, to make it little more simpler instead of making it too complex. When a pure mind comes in contact with the fire, heat, with satsang, what will happen? With the association with the higher, fire is a representation of higher. Those who are moving higher, that is a satsang. Those who are striving in the path, go up with them. So when you are associating with them, what will happen? Your mind will also move upwards, but that movement is not happening with peaceful. There is so much of turmoil. When the milk is boiling, there is so much of bubble, so much of things happen there. You see, it's not peaceful. It is disturbed. The mind is disturbed. And the rule of association with satsang is what? It will not give you peace. It will give you disturbance. You see, that's the beauty there. The starting point is what? You will get so much angry. So much of emotional triggers will happen in you. All the triggers will rise. Don't worry, it will subside. It will automatically subside. When it subsides, what are you supposed to do? Is the time you add a little more of Shantarasa. Peace. Consciously you got to add the peace factor from that, which is the peace taken from the other, not yours. It's not in you. It is taken from the outside. And when you take that from outside, when you start seeing the others, comes inside. When it comes inside, what happens? It mixes well. It mixes well, and suddenly you find what? Still white only. But suddenly the nature of that mind has transformed. What is the nature of it? It was watery earlier. Now it has become solid. That fluid state of the mind has turned into a solid state. So that solidarity you get first. So now what is it? It is solid. What was the condition of the mind earlier? Boiling. It was disturbed. Now what is it? Tranquil. It is solid and tranquil. Which is what first attraction for Krishna. First attraction for him is what? Curd. What is that? You need to have these two things in Krishna. Only then he comes towards. First one is what? You should be tranquil. At the same time, you should be solid. Solid in your action. Your efforts have to be solid. Your commitment should be solid. Also, it should be peaceful. Our problem is the moment you start action, what happens? This is the basic point we keep telling everyone. Those who are active are not peaceful. Those who are peaceful are not active. Why? Because the whole state is like mind now, like milk. That milk is not transformed into curd. Milk needs to be transformed into curd first. Only then the combination of this possibility of solidarity, also tranquility is possible. It will stay. It will not spill. You can transport. Curd can be carried. Nothing will happen. But milk, if you are carrying, what will happen? Spill all over. You got to cover it up. If you don't cover, you can transport. End of the street, if you go, you will have empty pot. Lesser the milk, more the disturbance. Okay, sir, so can I have full pot milk? Still, what? It will spill. As it starts spilling, it gets emptied, and it will start spilling more. And more of turmoil. So first step is what? It should be transformed. The milk should be transformed. What is the transformation? Two properties, two mistakes, two flaws, two inadequacies of milk. What is it? It is boiling and it is watery. Disturbed, watery. So we transform it. When you transform it, what happens? It becomes solid and it becomes tranquil. The solid and tranquil one is what he gets attracted to. And that curd will be contained within the pot. Milk cannot be contained within the pot. The curd on its own contained. Milk needs to be forced to be contained. Isn't it? There is a tremendous resistance from the milk. It wants to get out. Whereas curd is what? It stays within. That sort of a personality, introverted personality. That's called curd. So the extroverted mind gets transformed into an introverted mind. That introverted mind he gets attracted to. Is eager. Suppose if you go further, he gets even more interesting. That curd that is contained needs to be churned vigorously. That is the effort of churning, eagerness. With eagerness you got to churn. Churn it like that. Jnana vicharam is. They do that manana, what we refer generally as manana. The churning has to be done. The inquiry has to be done within. The inquiry has to be done with the curd. If you churn the milk, what you will get? What you will get? Froth. No. You will not get any. Nothing will come out of it. Only froth will be there. What is froth? Milk only. Milk coupled with air. Froth. Bubble. No? Collection of bubble is froth. Small bubbles. Allah. There is nothing there actually speaking. Inside is what? Empty. Air. Just a bubble there. When you churn the milk, nothing will happen. You got to churn what? Curd. After this transformation has happened alone, churning has to be done. For that churning, what you would require now? You require two things. You need a tool. You need a stick and a rope. You need a rope and a stick. With the proper tools, you have to churn. And the tool should not jump outside. Isn't that? You are churning. Even when you use the whipper. Imagine whipper should not be touching the pot. If the whipper touches the pot, what will happen? It will break. Whipper should not touch the pot. At the same time, the whipper should not be coming outside also. You cannot put it so deep inside, nor you can be churning just on the surface. It should go little deeper. How they conceived all this. Every facet of it. Just we say, Navanita Chora. You sing also songs. Navanita Chora, Gopal, this one, that one, and all you keep singing. But you don't understand the implications of it. The implication they give is this. Now this whipper should not go so deep also. At the same time, it should not be touching here. It should not be here. It should be just in the center. That is is called concentrated thinking. They should not have any movement outside, inside. It should be just within. When you churn like that, what happens? Something gets extracted out of it, which is totally different from the milk, totally different from the curd. There is a third element comes out. It is neither milk nor curd. Something else comes out of it. That is taken and kept afresh. When you keep it afresh, what happens? Krishna will come and steal. Why he has to steal that is very interesting. He can come and take and go. If he comes, why don't we offer it? Because you can offer it to him. What is the big issue? Yes. Why is he going to be stealing with it? It is the third element. Butter represents what? Butter represents the wisdom. It's Brahma Vidya. The Brahma Jnana. Which is also full, but at the same time it has nothing. When you heat that up, what happens? You heat that butter, what do you get? Ghee. Ghee is what again? Colorless. There's no color to it. What is the taste of the ghee? We call it madhuram and all that. Even butter we call madhuram and all that, but it is not sweet. We add salt to it. It is added. Naturally it doesn't have. It's colorless, tasteless, but has a amazing fragrance. Invisible. Fragrance is not visible. Same way. The realization that you get, that stolen butter consumed by Krishna, he doesn't come to ghee. Krishna doesn't come to ghee. Krishna doesn't go for milk. He neither goes for milk nor goes for ghee. He comes only for what? Butter. Chalte is curd. But curd is not, hardly we see any picture where Krishna is drinking curd and all that. But still, he has played with curds. He will play with it, but he will not be consuming it or anything. Stealing is not. Stealing is only butter. Why is it? This is the difference. That's why these people are so particular. When you get transformed that butter through the heat of meditation and the realization, you have reached the Nirguna Brahma. Now, once this has transformed into Nirguna Brahman, he has no role to play there. He will go and bow down to that person and walk out. He will not go and steal there because there is nothing to steal. Right? But if you keep it and leave that as a fresh butter, that he comes and assumes, takes away. Stealing. Stealing is done how? Without. If somebody takes something without your knowledge, which belongs to you. Someone takes what belongs to you without your knowledge, without your permission, that is called stealing. If I take with your permission, that's not stealing, that is borrowing. If you give it on your own, that is called sharing. You share. Now imagine Krishna comes to your house and you say, hey, I have got butter, man, you like butter, no, take it. What is that? He will take that also. You may take, but that is not essential here. Essential is stealing. And what is so interesting is, the gopis were making, get that butter and keep and wait for Krishna to come and steal. Unbelievable. The entire village must be off cases. How can someone put so much of effort, rear the cattle, get that cattle back, and then to milk, and then boil the milk, and then make a curd, and then churn, extract butter, so much. Now, what we need to understand is, of those people, cowards, right? Cowherds, for them, which is the most precious one for them is what? Because the cost of milk and the cost of curd. Cost of milk is to be 10 rupees, means cost of curd is 15 rupees. Then what is the cost of butter? People sell now in the market, no? Ghee, half kg, 400 rupees, 450 rupees. I say, how can you sell a ghee, pure ghee, he says. How can you sell a pure ghee, half kg? Because to get half kg ghee, how much butter is needed? To get that much butter, how much curd is needed? To get that curd, how much milk is needed? Add cost, right? Cost addition. Butter is the biggest possession in that fellow's house. That's what you need to understand. Don't say butter steal, butter steal. No. First thing we need to recognize is this, very basic. The most precious thing that he can have in his house is butter. Right? Because people were buying butter only those days. Nobody was buying ghee. Because they'll prepare ghee in their house. They don't need to be buying ghee. They'll prepare ghee in their own house. What I can sell in the market is butter. And the most expensive thing that I have in my house is butter. For them, for that crowd, for that group of people. That he goes and steals. Which means what? What you are going to be keeping as the most precious one in you is what is going to be snatched away from you. And if Krishna snatches that away from you is different, Kamsa snatching it away from you is different. Both are snatching it. When Krishna snatches it, it is enjoyed. That's what is so irritating to see. If you see the movies, a hero can torture the heroine to love him. Actually, it is torture. If you see the movies, it is a torture. It is irritating, this fellow. He can do that. That's allowed. If the same thing were to be done by the villain, what do we say? See, I love this girl. He also says, I love this girl. Right? Now, if he goes on behind her and he goes on teasing her, irritating her, this, that, and finally she has to say, yes, all of us were so happy. I don't know who is fault. If the same thing is done by him, it is different. Why? Still, we will say what? Sir, it's different. What is the difference? Only thing we say is what? He's a hero, he's a villain. Now, what makes him a hero? Krishna stealing. Why he is stealing? Is you bring out this effort, and this effortful purity you bring it. bring out of you, that will get absorbed by him. That gets absorbed. Without even your knowledge, whatever you have created, that wisdom that you have built, gets absorbed by him. That's why we call him Chor. He steals it, even without your knowledge. Because with the knowledge, what will happen? If Krishna comes and takes right in front of your eyes, what is going to be the case? With your knowledge means you are aware of it, which means the I is still alive. I am going to surrender. Is there any meaning? I surrender to you. Surrender itself means what? Dissolution of I. You see, with I intact, it is not possible for you to surrender. That's why so long as you are claiming that individuality, surrender, devotion, love, nothing is possible. So it has to happen when? In the absence of I. The absence of I is what is referred here by stealing. Without your knowledge. In your absence it happens. Not in your presence. Your presence means there is no meaning in it. It will not be interesting. Krishna is offered by all those people, butter. Then it is not philosophical. What is philosophical is the stealing part of it. Rest are all just a preparation. The most interesting part here is the stealing. It just comes and quietly takes it away, even without your knowledge. The final realization happens how? You merging with that. That's what we show in the Dhyana Shloka. See, Krishna is standing with what? Showing this Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya. Jnana Mudra. He's showing the Jnana Mudra. This is the Jnana Mudra. The index finger coming and joining the thumb finger. Right? Now, you try one thing. Index finger represents your sense of individuality, which is associated now with the three karanas or three gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, or body, mind, intellect, whatever you say. Waker, dream, deep sleep. This. It is constantly identifying with this. When this is attempting to move towards the thumb finger, which is represented by Brahman, you create a circle. Right? Now, so interesting. Hold your thumb as tight as possible. It should not move. Hold it. Okay. You don't have to do now. You can try later. Hold it. And now try to move your index towards the thumb. You will experience your thumb moving towards the index finger. Impossible. You can do anything. How much ever tight you hold your thumb, it will move towards it. There is a little movement is happening, even without it. Why not? When this individual is attempting to merge with Brahman, Brahman welcomes that to receive. He comes out and receives him, as it were. That's the significance. That's why they show this Chinmudra, this Jnana Mudra. They show. This is the same Jnana Mudra is what is Krishna is also showing, they say. Now you will find that in the Gita chariot, when Krishna holding the reins on one hand, and the other hand he is showing the Jnana Mudra. That is the picturization of Krishna. He'll be seated. He'll be sitting on the chariot with one leg folded, one leg down, and Arjuna is behind. He'll be turning towards him and speaking as it were, like this. This is the picturization. What is he doing? This is what is the significance of it. Where it moves towards you. Even without your knowledge, it has to be taken. Effortlessly. All that we have to do is what? Bring that Navanita, that's all. You don't have to worry about after that. After that, what is it? You won't even know when and how it got absorbed. Is the butter.
Oh, no, I'm a butter.
Butter is the inner wisdom. That the inner wisdom that you get, that is the butter.
So inner wisdom,
Knowledge.
he takes away.
He takes that. He absorbs it. He absorbs that.
And then,
He consumes it. When he consumes that, what happens? That becomes part of him, no? Whatever I consume becomes part of me. Same way, my whole thing becomes part of Brahman. I get absorbed into Brahman. I get that realization. I get that Sayujya. You merge there. There are few people, what they do is, they collect that butter and they independently heat it up again. The same fire which was used for boiling the milk comes again. Again he comes back to that fire. With that fire, when he comes, what happens to this butter now? The butter transforms into ghee. Right? That ghee also looks fluid, isn't it? Like milk, but totally different, transparent. There is a transparency to it. Milk, it has color to it, white color to it. Here it is what? Like spatika it is, transparent. It becomes transparent and tasteless, but has a tremendous fragrance. That is a transformation happens here. Now what happens to this person is, he puts in his own effort and transforms himself and reaches this Nirguna Brahma realization. He says, I don't have to worry about those fellows because they are not interesting to him. So Krishna is not interested in who? Krishna is not interested with reference to this yogis, those Siddha Purushas, those people. He says, anyway they have achieved. What is the point? Waste of time with those fellows. With milk also he says what? Waste of time. Right? No point. Whereas he is interested in the curd to play around with the butter, steal and consume. Make it part of him. What is curd? Curd is a solidified personalities. Personalities which are having this solidarity and tranquility. Those people he is interested to deal with, transact with. Whereas you further grow and make yourself transform that and extract butter out of it, what he does? He is consuming it. That's why we call him Krishna in this steals. You see. Navanita Chora.
There's a devotional.
Devotional aspect. Intellectual aspect is what? Is a milk remains the mind. The fire remains satsanga. Adding curd becomes what now? Not that Shantarasa. Now what is it? The jnana, knowledge. Not the Shantarasa of those people. The wisdom of those people needs to be added to your personality. Add to that mind in the lukewarm state. What will happen? Again, that same thing will get transformed into curd. Again, the same rule is applicable. Now, what are you going to do? Is to do that manana, reflection. When you do the reflection, when you do that thinking, what you get? Wisdom you get. Only difference is this. Only difference is what is getting added and where are you going to place satsang. That is only the difference. Right. First thing for those devotional people, what is the fire, sir? Is the pangs of life for them. The curd is the satsanga for those people, the shantarasa of the good people, because that is the association. In that association, what should happen? I should take them inside me and dissolve them into me. Now, we also relate to good people, but we don't allow them to get dissolved in us. We just say, yeah, we are also in touch with you. That's it. More of a social relationship. There are good people around whom we are also in contact with, but we are not allowing them to allow them to enter into our system and mix so much. We don't allow them to get mixed so much. This is satsanga. When you come to intellectual interpretation, there what is it? The fire becomes the satsanga. The satsanga is not, now the fire is not the pangs of life, the pain of life. Now it is this, intellectually. There what happens? Grows. Your mind gets initial inspiration, but that initial inspiration is not enough, you have to settle down. After settling down only, knowledge transaction will happen. How long that will take, don't ask. It depends. For few people it can happen in one day, for few people it may take years also. We have no idea. Sometimes can take Jammu also. Duration we don't know. But the process is this. The steps is this. With the association, you get inspiration. After that inspired mind cannot be taking in knowledge in the heat of inspiration. No. It should settle down. After it settles down with that inspiration, then you add little knowledge. After the little knowledge gets added into them and steered well, that is the reflection part. Then after that Shravana and Manana, there is transformation. Solid curd. That solid curd needs to be churned. That churning is Nididhyasana. When you do that Nididhyasana, what happens? Contemplation, assertion, negation and all that when you do, butter gets extracted. You get wisdom. That wisdom, what will happen? Now we all believe when I gain that wisdom will be there with me personally. You see, stealing now has a different meaning now. Okay. Now it is not stealing of Krishna coming and taking and all that now. Now we believe, sir, I have put in so much of effort, I have taken this butter, extracted that butter and I have kept it there. So, will that butter be there with me? Nah, it will disappear. Who has stolen that we will not know. We know what? It is not there. The nature of wisdom is what? It will come up and then disappear. If it comes up and stays, that's called intelligence. You see? Intelligence. That is not wisdom. That is skill. Skill stays with you. Wisdom will not stay with you. Wisdom will get absorbed, will disappear on its own. That is the very nature of it. Nature of wisdom is that. Rare few are the people who have the capacity to hold that wisdom even before it can get lost. Wisdom disappearing is not losing it, okay? I'm just using the word. Before it could even disappear, you transform it. There are people who can do that. But that is more of an exception. That's not the rule. The rule is what? The law of wisdom is it will disappear. We feel, then why should I put in so much of effort, man, if it is going to disappear? That's what will be highly frustrating. Up to this point, everyone will say correct. Correct, sir. Wisdom is there. After getting the wisdom is going to be there with you permanently. There is no problem. The tragedy is what? Krishna will come and steal that and go away. But then what you get? It is stolen, but not lost. Don't ask me to explain it. You see, wisdom's nature is that. It will be stolen, but not lost. You can't explain it. That's why it is called Krishna stealing the butter. Because when something is lost only you know, isn't it? Stolen. Sir, I kept it there, I don't know what happened to it, disappeared. Means what? Somebody has taken that. Correct. It has disappeared but not lost. What do you call that? This is what the stand is. I'll just explain. Time is there. Okay. In the process of gaining knowledge, there are 4 stages, they say. Right. First stage is you don't know that you don't know. That is the first stage. You won't even know that you don't know that. That's the very basic stage. Right? Like we don't even understand what is the difficulty in driving a car. Example, you take as car driving. At least two-wheeler you need to balance and all that. Car la enna prachana? Nothing difficult actually. All that you have to do is what? Just sit there. It will move by itself. All that you have to do is what the difficulty is there? Very easy that is. So we think that is very simple. Like lot of people think cooking is so easy. Making rice. All that you have to do is what? Make rice. That's all. Even if you are not there, a lot of husbands, they say that. Even if you are not there, I don't care. All that I have to do is what? Make rice, curd is there, urga I will get. Enough for me. The problem is making. Same way coffee, tea. Because cooking is not a. And the most interesting part is when you see someone cooking, it looks so simple. You bake a cake, it comes out as a rusk. Exactly same thing I have done. fascinating it is. I went to this, that's South Africa, their house. They had an oven, and the lady said, I told her, this I can also prepare. I'll cook today for you. She said, okay, do. I said, these are the things I need. I have checked in the YouTube already. That's all. Where is it? I checked there. Sure. Now, and that same, oven is what he also demonstrated it. Same thing. Same Samsung. This. Preheating to be done for 20 minutes or at the 360 degrees, something like that he has mentioned. And all that I am done. Kept it there, and timer also we had set. She was still helping me, of course. Not that she was not helping. To set the timer and all those things, everything is set. What is supposed to come out is a cake. Smell it was very nice. It came out when you're cutting it is cracking. Rusk, finally, Seeing is so easy, Why? Because that's a state is what is referred as. You don't know that you don't know. Next stage is after cooking, what is it? Now, I know, I don't know. Now if you ask me, Ishwaran, can you bake a cake for me? I will say yes and place an order. That's all. And then say I baked it. I know that I don't know. This is the stage. From this stage only, effort to gain knowledge starts. No effort comes in the first stage. 1 to 2, transformation will not happen by your effort. 1 to 2, stage 1 to 2 happens by the knocks and shocks of life. The burnt cake only will show you. You don't know. Otherwise, you start with what? I know. That's how we start. So, first stage is you don't know that you don't know. Second stage is referred as you know that you don't know. Then comes a third stage. Is where you have put in effort and you have learnt the art and you have mastered it now. You can bake. You know how to make cakes. You know how to make a biscuit. You know how to make a rusk. You know the difference. What is the difference? Even though the ingredients be being the same, you know how to, what is the permutation combination, how this is to be done, how that is to be done, how this is to be done. And you prepare, you give, cake comes out as cake, biscuit comes out as biscuit, rusk comes out as rusk. Correct. This is third stage. What is this stage? You know that you know. Stage 1, I repeat. You don't know that you don't know. Stage 2, you know that you don't know. Stage 3, you know that you know. Wisdom alone gets to the fourth stage. Where you reach a state, you don't know that you know. Fourth stage is that. You don't know that you know. You are not even aware of it. I'll give an example, it becomes easier for that stage. Right. Do you know that you are breathing? You don't know. You don't even know that you are breathing actually. But breathing is happening, no? Isn't it? Digestion happens. But who is making it? You are digesting. You are breathing, isn't it? You are breathing. But breathing is not done like you brush your teeth, like you comb your hair, like you walk, you do this, you do that. Not in that sense. This is also an action, but this act of breathing is totally different from all other actions of us. What is the difference? It it is a happening, not a doing. Same way, your knowledge transforms into wisdom, means wisdom you will not be conscious of, but that doesn't mean it is not there. That is called the Krishna stealing butter. Intellectually. First one is devotional aspect. Okay. Now it is intellectual. In the intellectual aspect, what is it? We understand the nature of wisdom. Nature of wisdom is such that it is not in my control. Knowledge sharing is purely in my control. I decide. I wanted to speak on Krishna, I will speak. If I don't want to speak on Krishna, I will not speak. That's it. You can do anything. Right. I may start speaking something else. Why? That is knowledge. Knowledge sharing is purely the choice of an individual. Whereas wisdom gets shared by itself. It's not in my choice. Once I have gained wisdom, if at all, sharing that wisdom just happens by itself. So, as though people around that man of wisdom are taking that wisdom from him even without his permission. Because wisdom's nature is to share itself. Knowledge is not like that. You see, my skill is not like that. That is what we distinguish between intelligence and intellect. This is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is purely in my hand. The moment I have gained wisdom, I transformed it into wisdom. It will share by itself. It will work on its own. Then whoever comes in that vicinity takes that portion and goes away. Whatever they can take, how much ever they can take.
So that's why they say, that if you sit with somebody who's got a wisdom,
You take it. You can absorb it automatically.
you learn something.
You learn. He doesn't have to speak anything. The typical example we give is Ramana. See, Vivekananda was lecturing, was teaching, he was explaining, debating, he was discussing, he is available to guide, he is available to do all these things. But Ramana was doing what? Nothing. It's not a restless sitting. See, there are people who sit. You can see a restlessness in that. You will be sitting there, but restlessness as you can see. Now you see Ramana, nothing. And not only that, even when you listen to Vivekananda or Ramatirtha or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, all these masters, you will always see something more than what is communicated. You see that? When you go to this universities, university professors and teachers also will teach Bhagavad Gita. Vivekananda also explains Bhagavad Gita. He also refers to the Upanishad. He also explains Chandogya Upanishad. And here is a person who is also explaining Chandogya Upanishad. But we always find there is something more happens to us when you are listening that from Vivekananda. That's not happening when you are listening to the professor. Why is it? What is that is getting added along with? That's the wisdom. And is he adding that? No. It is happening on its own. It is not in your control at all. It will be taken from you. The moment you have that wisdom, it will be taken. Period. Whoever comes, depending upon how much they can carry, that is different. But it will be taken away from you in spite of your willingness. That is what is symbolized by Krishna stealing that butter. Stealing means what? Taken without your permission, even without your willingness, knowledge. That's called stealing. Nature of wisdom is what? It will be stolen. And these gopis are all doing what? They are waiting for Krishna to steal that butter, isn't it? Same way, the nature of these sadhaks, those jnana yogis, will be what? They will be waiting for people to come and take it. This is the uniqueness of wisdom. In no other field, we want that to be shared with people. Now imagine you have understood theory of relativity. You are going to college, you have studied this, you have understood the theory of relativity. You will not be getting the urge to go out and tell everyone. Isn't it? You have understood X theory and Y theory of management. You will not have a temptation to go out and tell anyone. You will not want people to learn from you. That's what the Upanishadic masters were asking. Can you believe? They are praying to God. What is the prayer? Let me get more students. Is the prayer of the Upanishadic master. You say, why? That is the gopis. What is they doing? They are preparing all this and keep it ready for Krishna to steal. So, these people who are practicing Jnana Yoga, what are they doing? They do it only to be stolen from them. Take it, man. Take as much as possible from me. This is what the idea of those who have wisdom. How much ever less they have. You see, that's why those gopis, that's why Krishna's house itself had lot of butter, enough for him. Rest of his life, if he has breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything had to be butter also, enough is there. Still he goes and steals from those small houses where they have very little only. Even those who have that little butter will want what? Will be desiring to be stolen. Very peculiar case. You see, you will not be buying something, you will not buy a diamond, jewel, to be stolen, will you? You will say, Pagal or what? Are you mad? You will say. But wisdom is that nature where they strive, and every step is not easy, I tell you. Boiling the milk, cooling down, adding curd, mixing that curd, allowing that to settle down, and then transform into curd, and then churn, extract, and put it in the water. Keep it separately. The butter comes from the curd, but it stands out. Isn't it? It doesn't get mixed with curd. Once it is extracted, it will not get mixed. Impossible. Curd will mix with milk. Isn't it? Curd will mix. But butter will not get mixed. It will be standing. Even if you try to mix it also, if you have extra, you can try.
No, I have made a lot of butter.
You make it also.
No, I have made, not now.
Make butter.
My mother used to make it.
Prepare that butter. Once the butter is extracted,
You put it in the water, it will be as it is.
it will be there. It is with the water, but it doesn't get mixed with it.
Even now in the villages we make when we go.
Prepare.
And every day they will have fresh butter.
Fresh, they keep. And they use it.
There's no
Sometimes, they collect it.
Yeah.
And then, boil it and make it into ghee and all that.
Yeah.
But the significance is this. They say, and one of the unique factor about Krishna is worshipped as a thief. It is a very unique one about Krishna. No other god you would have even dreamt of conceiving as a thief. The god of thief. That's the significance of Krishna.
When somebody talks, and if he has got the wisdom, they'll say, his wisdom is talking.
Yeah, there is a difference you can see.
Yeah.
From the wisdom,
And the people will say, yeah, his wisdom is talking.
that wisdom speaks by itself. So, wisdom, direction is very different. So, there are two ways we see this stealing of butter. One is through the devotional side. Another one is through intellectual side. Either case, it is so inspiring. Either you look at it from the devotional side of it, or you look at it from the intellectual side of it.